We've been trying to get him for a few weeks now because I am just fascinated by his career path and who he is. He is the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, winning his first 3 career starts, presumably getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles. He is Taysom Hill. How are you, Taysom?
I'm great. I'm great, Rich. Thanks for having me on.
Where have I found you? You driving around the great city of New Orleans right now?
I'm headed home, actually. Just had a little stuff to get done in the facility and headed home to finish up a little prep for the Eagles.
Okay, so are we assuming you're the starter? Are you the starter this week? Is Drew coming back, best we can tell? You don't mind me asking? Straightforward?
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I know that Drew is the most competitive guy I've ever been around, and I know he's been dying to get back on the field, but I don't know. I haven't talked to him to know what his plan is yet. I think it's one of those things that in a situation like this that you know, for me, I have to make sure that I'm preparing to be the guy in case I am the guy. And if Drew's ready to come back, you know, it's obviously it's his show, and I'll step back into my other role. But if not, I'll be ready.
So when we had Drew on the show about 3 weeks ago, he was in the I guess the workout room, and he said Taysom's right over here. So you've obviously been around him for quite some time. What has it been like for you to be around Drew Brees? What have you picked up from him, Taysom?
Oh man, well that is such a loaded question that I could go on forever. I have learned so much from Drew. One, he is such an incredible mentor. He's become such a great friend to me. But I would say the things that I learned most are not the things that Drew has said to me. It's what I've been able to observe. And it's really, I think what separates him from other people is how he prepares for a football game. I was so blown away when I first got here to see the way that he prepares week in and week out. Because I had this expectation that, you know, Drew's been playing for so long, he's been so great and so consistent that, you know, there's not a defense he hasn't seen. But I'm telling you, he prepares as if it's his first start every week. And so his routine, his schedule, I can tell you that, you know, without me being around him, you know, if I was gone for a week, I could tell you exactly what he would be doing, when he would be doing it, because his routine is so dialed in, and he knows what it takes to get him prepared for a game. And so really his routine and how he prepares has been the most beneficial thing for me throughout this process.
And in terms of the 3 weeks, though, that you've been the starter, what about that? How has he been there downloading you with information, or you picking his brain or anything like that? What about that?
He's been awesome. Look, I think it's one of those things where, you know, when you're used to taking every rep and playing every game and everything, it's hard to, you know, continue to watch film and prepare that way. But, man, he kept that same routine with me. He was in watching film with me, and, you know, we sat and had a ton of discussions on, you know, personnel and game plan, and we were sending different ideas up to the coaches. And so he's been awesome. You know, he's been on the sideline with me for both Atlanta games, and he's been so helpful through that entire process.
Taysom Hill here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about the journey. I love journeys. I love stories, and yours is fascinating to me. From Idaho, and Jim Harbaugh knocked on your door for Stanford. Is that the way this kind of started for you, Taysom?
Yeah, look, when I was coming out of high school, I really narrowed it down to 2 schools, and it was Stanford and BYU.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I ended up, you know, signing to play for Stanford. I really wanted to play for Jim. I felt like he had a great idea of how he was going to use me and what my skill set was. And, you know, he obviously went to the Niners while I was in the mission field, and a few things changed, and so I ended up going to BYU, and I loved my time there. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time getting to know Coach Harbaugh, and was obviously excited about playing for him initially.
So where'd you go on your mission? What was that?
I was in Sydney, Australia. So graduated in 2009, and then I was in Australia from 2010 through 2011.
and then you came and you went to BYU. Are you aware? Because we had Sean Payton on the other day, and I asked him when he first laid eyes on you, Taysom. Are you aware that preseason game in 2017 with the Packers, where you were performing, that you were part of a cut-up tape for Max McCaffrey that he was keeping an eye on? He saw you. Were you aware that your preseason performance, in a way, led to all of this, Taysom?
Yeah, I was. I had a conversation with Coach when he first claimed me, and he told me the story. I was actually with Max. Max was on the phone with Coach because Coach was trying to get him to come down as a practice squad spot, and he shared the story with me as he was watching Max, and then he realized and started asking who's this guy that keeps throwing him the ball, and as you alluded to, the rest has been history.
Yeah, and he also said to a bunch of people, I mean, when you were named the starter, and it was kind of surprising to a lot of people that you were the one he turned to, that he had told all manners of broadcasters, from Troy Aikman to Michelle Tafoya to anybody, when the conversations were brought up with them about what if Drew went down, certainly with Bridgewater now on a different team after going 5-0 in this spot last year. He said it would be Taysom if we lose Brees for any specific period of time, and he wanted to be true to his word. When did he tell you that, though, Taysom?
Yeah, Coach and I had a few conversations through training camp, and as we finalized training camp, we had a conversation, and the plan was always, because my role was so unique that if something happened to Drew mid-game, that Jameis would finish the game, just because we didn't want to lose two people because of what I'd be doing that game, and then the next week that I would have an opportunity to go. So that was our conversation. That was my expectation going into the season, and so I wasn't surprised when it played out that way.
But what does it mean to have a coach actually keep his word?
Yeah, look, I trust Coach Payton, and it means a lot. Obviously, sometimes you can have conversations and then people go back on their word, but I would say that my experience with Coach has always been really positive, where he's certainly a man of his word, but he is a guy that, like, if he believes in you, like, he creates opportunities for you. So, and that's really all he's done for me since I've been in New Orleans, is created opportunities for me. And that's really all you can ask for as a player. What
about opportunities you're creating for yourself, Taysom? A conversation that you could be this guy once Drew Brees moves on to broadcasting. Has that been broached with you at all?
Are you talking specifically with Coach, or just my thought process?
With Coach. How about that?
Yeah, look, I mean, I will tell you that I've always believed in my talents, and my college career didn't go the way that I had hoped for, and it was injury-ridden and everything else. But I've always trusted in my capabilities of playing quarterback at this level, and I will tell you that I believe Coach feels the same way about me. Now it's obviously I've got to take advantage of opportunities and play well to continue to have opportunities. But I feel super capable, and as I look into the future, that is certainly the long-term goal, to be the guy.
So now that you have thrown your first career touchdown passes, Taysom Hill, what is a better feeling, completing a touchdown pass with your arm or running somebody over to score one? Which one?
Look, yeah, I would say I'm still a quarterback at heart. I love throwing touchdown passes, and more than anything, it's because you get other people involved. I love celebrating with my teammates. I love going down to celebrate with Traquan and Jared as they caught touchdowns.
Well, I mean, you do involve somebody. You truck the person, and then you could still celebrate with your teammates after trucking the person. Taysom, I have thrown the ball in my backyard to my children, and I do believe I've completed touchdown passes there. I've never trucked anybody. I'm just wondering which one you like better. Which one gives you a better feeling when it's all said and done?
Well, I like throwing touchdowns.
Okay.
I like throwing touchdowns, and I'll tell you that you feel a lot better the next morning throwing touchdowns than you do trucking someone running touchdowns.
Okay, very good. So when it is all said and done, this is the role you want for the rest of your playing career in the NFL. What we are seeing right now, how much better do you think you can get than what we're seeing right now, Taysom Hill?
Man, I feel like I can improve in a lot of areas.
Like what? Hit me up on some of them.
Yeah,
Walk
well, look, I think the blatant things, I've got to be better at taking care of the ball. I've let the ball on the ground a couple times.
Right.
And we had a turnover in the red zone, which would have certainly led to points, and that was disappointing. Aside from that, I think the more and more comfortable I get, and I've progressed the last few weeks, I feel like my timing with the receivers have been better. I think the decision making of where you're going with the ball and when you throw the ball has continued to get better. But I would say that the progression of a quarterback and what makes a quarterback good to great and great to elite is their ability to process so much information and then make a decision based on the information that they're processing. So how quickly can you see it and how quickly can you get the ball where it needs to go? And I would say that really will always be, my emphasis of playing quarterback. And I think that's really what separates the good ones from the great ones. And it's been a great learning experience from Drew because that's what he's done throughout his entire career, and what really makes him great, in my opinion.
Well, what about your adjustment, Taysom, from also going in the huddle, looking at a GOAT like Drew Brees for the play and knowing you better be where it needs to be so you can make sure that your GOAT, who's counting on you, gets what he's expecting, and knowing that of the other teammates who are potentially going to be on the receiving end of a Drew Brees pass, to now having Michael Thomas be the one looking at you in that same way, that's got to have been, for the last 3 games, a little bit jarring, I'm wondering, for you.
Yeah, look,
right?
I have felt so much support from my teammates that, certainly stepping into a role like this and trying to do your best to continue to facilitate and play at a high level like Drew is certainly a stressful and a pressure environment. But I have felt so much support from my teammates. As I get in the huddle, I feel like they trust me. I trust those guys. I know that they're going to be where they're supposed to be, and I've appreciated that. I haven't felt any additional pressure from Mike Thomas or Emmanuel or Traquan or Jared that, like, hey, they have some crazy expectation for me. And I think we're all on the same page that the goal is to win football games, and we've been able to do that.
So you're saying in your first 3 starts you haven't had a single instance of somebody looking at you saying, hey, I'm open? That hasn't happened yet to you as a quarterback? Demanding the football? There has been no demanding of the football in your 3 starts at all?
Yeah. I would say that.
Hold on. It sounds like it sounds like there has been. It sounds like there has been.
No,
okay.
I would say guys will come to me and say, I've got you.
Okay.
You give me an opportunity. I'm going to fight for you.
But.
And there are moments like that. But look, I haven't felt. There definitely hasn't been any confrontation or.
No.
Any issues.
No. Hey, Taysom, I work for with the Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, who's still to this day adores Troy Aikman. They're tight, but Troy will tell you the number of times Michael told him, hey, what gives? These things happen is what I'm saying. That's why I'm wondering if it's happened to you and you're now on the business end of it and how that's been interesting for you.
Well, I will tell you a big part of it. I will go to the receivers and say, hey, were you open? Were you open on this play in the event that we come back to it? Because I may have looked to a different side and, the pictures didn't show exactly if they won or how they played the backside of a route concept. So guys will tell me, but I haven't ever felt any, real anger or,
Okay.
or malice from any of my guys, man. Just nothing but support. And if there are conversations like that, it's more of an informational deal, not a hey, I'm upset. Deal, give me the ball.
Okay. And then before I let you go, in the last couple minutes I have here, your support system at home. Who are they? Let's give them a shout out. Who do you have at home here, Taysom?
I have the best support system. I've been married for 6.5 years now. We just had our first child, who is almost 4 months old now. So my wife is basically living the life of a single mother right now, raising him.
Boy or a girl? Boy or a girl?
Little boy.
Okay.
His name's Bo. And then my parents, my wife's parents, and siblings have all been outstanding and supporting us. And when they found out that I was going to start my first game, they all jumped on a plane and flew down here to make sure that they were here for it. And it's been great.
Fabulous. Is Bo the Swiss Army knife of infants, Taysom? Do we know he's taking after his daddy so far? Is he doing it all right now?
I
bet he's doing it all.
Man, I'll tell you, he's a little hot and cold, man. Sometimes he'll sleep well, sometimes he won't. And
welcome to the world.
Yeah, there you go.
Taysom, I really appreciate it. I've been admiring you from afar, and I hope this is not this is the first of many times that we get to chat here on this show. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me.
You got it. That's Taysom Hill at T_Hill4 on Twitter, at TS_Hill on Instagram. Right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.